The headline for today is about growing tension in Soshanguve, where residents have started blocking foreign nationals from accessing local clinics. Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is a video and picture news about the rising tension in Soshanguve, where angry residents say they've had enough of long queues, limited medicine, and overcrowded clinics. They claim that undocumented foreigners are taking up space and resources meant for South Africans, and now, they've taken matters into their own hands. Reports say that groups of residents have gathered outside clinics, forming human barriers to stop foreign nationals from entering. The protests, driven by frustration, are being supported by some local civic movements that believe public services should put South Africans first. They say the health system is collapsing under pressure and that undocumented migrants are worsening the problem. But before we go deeper, make sure you watch till the end to see where this news came from and try to verify it for yourself. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss important updates like this one. Now, this situation in Soshanguve has quickly turned into a heated national debate. Some residents argue that local clinics are so overwhelmed that South Africans can't get the care they need. They say it's unfair for undocumented migrants to benefit from services funded by taxpayers. According to some residents, patients without proper documentation are overloading the system, sometimes even collecting medication from multiple clinics under different names. On the other side, the government and human rights groups have condemned these actions, calling them unconstitutional. They've reminded South Africans that the country's constitution guarantees access to basic health care for everyone, regardless of nationality or immigration status. Officials have warned that blocking anyone from receiving health care is unlawful and could lead to criminal charges. Government departments have also emphasized that while frustrations are real, taking the law into your own hands is not the solution. They've called for calm, urging residents to raise concerns through legal and peaceful channels rather than by stopping people from receiving medical help. In the midst of all this, healthcare workers find themselves caught in the middle. Some nurses and staff admit that the clinics are severely overloaded and that the record-keeping system struggles to manage patients without proper IDs. But others are deeply uncomfortable with what's happening, saying their duty is to treat anyone in need of medical care, not to decide who deserves it. One nurse reportedly said that while the system is under immense pressure, turning people away only makes things worse. After all, a sick person denied care can spread illness faster, putting the whole community at risk, South Africans and foreigners alike. The government has acknowledged that the public health system is stretched thin, but many experts say the problem runs much deeper than migration alone. Underfunding, corruption, poor planning, and infrastructure problems have all played a part. The truth is, even if undocumented migrants disappeared overnight, the healthcare system would still struggle. Still, the frustration in Soshanguve is real. People are tired of waiting in line for hours, tired of hearing that medicine is out of stock, and tired of feeling like their needs are being ignored. And when people feel unheard, they often take drastic action, which is exactly what's happening now. There's also a wider issue at play. As economic conditions worsen and unemployment remains high, tensions between locals and foreigners have become more visible. Some South Africans feel that jobs, housing, and social services are being taken by undocumented migrants, while others argue that migrants often take the hardest, lowest paid work that locals don't want. This tension in Soshanguve is part of a larger national struggle about fairness, identity, and limited resources. It raises difficult questions: who deserves priority when services are scarce? How do you balance compassion with practicality? And how can governments stop these problems before they explode into violence? Officials have said they're stepping up efforts to manage the situation. That includes tightening border controls, improving the documentation system, and increasing security at public facilities to prevent clashes. But human rights advocates warn that these actions could lead to more discrimination and division if not handled carefully. For everyday people living in Soshanguve, the reality is much simpler. They just want shorter queues, better service, and a fair system that works for everyone. Now, for a moment of lightness, because we all need to breathe after such heavy news. If you've ever sat in that clinic line for hours, you know it's basically a community event. You might start the day frustrated, but by the time your number's called, you've probably made 2 new friends and shared 3 life stories. Maybe the health department should start offering tea and snacks to make the wait more bearable. It might even calm a few tempers. All jokes aside, the situation in Soshanguve is serious. It's about more than clinics, it's about how we live together as a country. Whether you agree with the residents or not, one thing is clear: people are desperate for working systems and fair treatment. South Africa's diversity is one of its strengths, but only if everyone feels heard and respected. So once again, today's headline: tensions are rising in Soshanguve as residents block foreign nationals from accessing local clinics. The government says it's a violation of rights and the law, while residents insist they're protecting their own interests. The outcome will depend on whether leaders can balance compassion with accountability and ensure services are accessible and fair for all. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. Sources: SA News, YFM News, and local reports from Soshanguve community representatives.